Elections in India have already begun. But did you know that in the first Lok Sabha elections, names of 28 lakh people were removed from the voters list? Why? We will understand this question in this video. You are watching Election Stories. I am Vidushi Gaur. When Lok Sabha elections started for the first time in India in 1951, the general public was surprised to know that they could elect their own government. Till now, the thought in the public mind was that the government comes from somewhere else and from other people. Although even before this, elections were held for provincial governments. But for most voters, choosing their own government was a different experience. At that time, the formation of Election Commission was new. Along with political parties, the Election Commission also had to go door to door to campaign that people should come out and take part in voting. The Election Commission screened documentary films in about 3,000 cinema halls across the country, in which the message was given that voters must go and participate in voting. At that time, the minimum age for voting was 21 years. This entire campaign was focused on the idea that voters have to choose their own government at the time of the first Lok Sabha elections in 1951 and 52. About 85% of the people in the country did not know how to read and write. The population of the country was 40 crores, and out of which only 15% knew how to read and write in any one language. In such a situation, most of the voters were unable to understand why the government was publishing the names of the candidates and parties contesting the elections. Sukumar Sen was the election commissioner at that time, and he decided that he would give a symbol to all the political parties. Under the leadership of Jawaharlal Nehru, Congress had got the mark of two bulls. The All India Forward Bloc, whose once president was Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, got the election symbol of hand in the country's first election, the same hand which is the election symbol of Congress these days. At that time, making a voters list was even a more difficult task. The Election Commission had recruited about 16,500 clerks for 6 months who prepared the electoral roll, that is the voters list. When the Election Commission employees used to go to villages to prepare this list to record the names and age, etc., there were many women who refused to tell their real names to any stranger. Many of the women did not know their own names, and instead they called themselves as so-and-so's mother or so-and-so's wife, or from this or that village. When this data reached the Election Commission office, the names of 28 lakh people had to be removed from the list. Elections were held in India during the British rule, but at that time not everyone had the right to vote. However, in 1951 and 52, everyone now had the right to vote. In such a situation, the political parties were facing problems of how to conduct election campaigns. Some leaders, especially stalwarts like Nehru, held huge rallies, while others took to the street to seek votes. Going door to door, something very interesting happened on the streets of Kolkata. Vote for Congress was written in Bengali on some cows roaming on the streets. This aroused great interest amongst people. The first Lok Sabha elections were held in 68 phases over 4 months. The first Indians to vote in the Lok Sabha elections were Buddhist monks living in the Chini Tehsil of Himachal Pradesh. Elections were held here on 25th October 1951 to avoid winter snowfall. The rest of India voted next year in January and February 1952 on the basis of the voters list printed on 3,80,000 reams of paper. Earlier, in the Lok Sabha elections, the expenditure on each voter was 60 paisa. This expenditure was estimated to be around Rs 72 in 2019 Lok Sabha elections. Around 2 lakh ballot boxes were used to collect the votes cast on the ballot paper. To ensure security, the ballot boxes were made bulletproof. About 8,200 tons of steel was used in making those boxes. Further, the country's scientists prepared such an ink whose stains could not be removed. This was done to ensure that no voter could vote again. In this election, voting was held in 489 seats and Congress won 364 seats. The biggest name among those who lost the first Lok Sabha elections was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He contested the elections from the reserved seat of North Central Bombay. Incidentally, Ambedkar also lost the first Lok Sabha by-election from Bhandara seat in 1954, but by that time he had already become a member of the Rajya Sabha. In this series of election stories, we will tell you more such interesting facts. Stay tuned. Jai Hind.